Hello, my friends and future funeral service professionals. Welcome back to another episode of Megan's Study Guide to the NBE for Funeral Service. I'm Megan Opachensky, and today we are going to be diving back into the science section, or season 2 for my podcast listeners. For the NBE, we are going to be focusing on linear guides and anatomical guides, limits, origins, etc. Before we start, there's only 44 terms or cards in this Quizlet I have. I've already, as you know, I'm very diligent about this. I cross-reference and fact-check every Quizlet I use. I just can't use copyrighted information, so I rely heavily on Quizlets for stuff like this. So this was also a heavily requested, or highly, there we go, that's the right word, highly requested topic for an episode. So that's why I'm going to do this first. If you are not already in that Facebook group I've mentioned before, I will go ahead and tag the link to join in the episode notes here. That's actually where this was requested. So the next few episodes will also be specific topics that were requested in there, because I can actually see which ones people agreed with and prioritize that way. But that doesn't mean that's the only way you can request them. Shoot me a message. You know, that fan mail thing is awesome. If you need me to reply to a message, like whether it be about Taggart notes or question, anything you might want to ask me, happy to reply, but I need a way to reply to you. Fan mail sucks and will tell me your first name if you put it in. Sometimes it doesn't even do that. It'll just say anonymous, and it will just show me your message, but I have literally no way to reply to you. Absolutely none. So I don't know how it's set up on their end, like when you guys submit something, but if you could please... if they ask you your email already and you're like, Megan, I entered it, I swear, I believe you. I don't know what's happening. But my point is, whatever it is not being sent to me. I just get the content of your message. So if you could do me a solid so I can reply to you, just put your email or whatever it is that you want me to contact you through in your message itself. Sorry if you have to repeat yourself again. I apologize. I love you. I'm sorry. Don't hate me too much. But it would just make it so I'm not unintentionally ignoring you, because that's really rude and totally not what I'm about. I'm specifically thinking of 3 people that I have definitely ignored, and I'm so sorry. But if you reached out and I did not reply, please feel free to message me again. Just like I said, make sure you include a way to reply to you. Also, if you messaged me on Facebook, their super filter is a little ridiculous. And I've been noticing the past few months that people will message me and go, yeah, I messaged you months ago and you never replied. And I'll click their name and there they are. And I have to accept the messages. I do not know why. I have no clue what that is for. It's annoying. I've tried to see how to turn it off. I can't. So feel free. Everything on my Facebook is public. Please feel free. I will not in any way be weirded out, get offended, none. Just don't be mad at me. If I've been ignoring you, don't be mad. Just comment like, hey, I messaged you. Just make sure I know you're not like a spam bot or something, and maybe tag like, you know, hey, I've been listening to your podcast, tried to message you. So just let me know who you are. And then that way I can just click your name and it will bring me back to your messages and I can accept them, and et voila, problem solved. So anyway, with all that covered, let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? So, as I said, we're going to be doing this Quizlet on guides. So the title, and I will link it in the notes so you have access to it yourself and you can see it. But the title is Linear Guides, Anatomical Guide, Anatomical Limits, Origins, Branches, and Relation to Vein, Mortuary Science. This set is by, we've used their cards before because this creator is phenomenal. I actually used them when I was in school, believe it or not. But this is another one by Nathaniel0483. I'm sure Nathaniel will never hear this, but thank you so much. And it also might be Nathan Lell. I'm not sure, but regardless. Thank you so much for your contribution. I know that I personally relied heavily upon you for my study materials in school, so thank you very much. All right, and also, so as I've said in previous episodes, sciences is like mouth Olympics, so don't judge me too much, okay? I might miss a syllable, which I know is syllable, but I'm being funny, okay? But anyway, so also, oh my gosh, I don't want to interrupt every time to be like, oh my God, this is so important, because literally every single freaking thing we're going to cover, I've already read through this like 3 times. These are all crucial, critical, vital. Take out my thesaurus, okay? Like, these are all super duper important for you guys to pass your sciences, okay? Like, commit these suckers to memory. I know that they're such a pain in the butt because I get it, okay? I hate these too. But they're really, really important. I promise. Like, have these down. I think that's why it was so heavily requested. And personally, when people requested it, I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that before I took my sick leave? That is important. It's one of the most important things. So just imagine me constantly going, it's important, or oh my God, no. Just imagine that with every definition we're going to do, okay? That way we could just get through this. All right, so linear guide, a line drawn or visualized on the surface of the skin to represent the approximation, location, it rhymes, of some deep line structure. Anatomical guide, reference for location of arteries and veins by means of anatomical structures, which are known. Those 2 are very important, and so is this one, okay? Anatomical limit, points of origin and termination in relation to adjacent structures, used to designate boundaries of arteries. All 3 of those are incredibly important. Okay, I already said I wouldn't do that. All right, focus, sorry. Linear guide for the common carotid artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin from a point over the respective sternoclavicular, got it, articulation to a point over the anterior surface of the base of the respective earlobes. Relationship of the common carotid artery to the internal jugular vein. The internal jugular vein lies lateral and superficial to the common carotid artery. Anytime you hear that kind of language, the lies lateral and superficial, like that, remember that, okay? Like, that will be important. All of the ones that do that. All right. Linear guide for the axillary artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin from a point over or through the center of the base of axillary space to a point over or through the center of the lateral border of the base of axillary space running parallel to the long axis of the abducted arm. And that's a lot. A lot of those are going to be like we have a lot of those. Linear guide for the brachial artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin from a point over the center of the lateral border of the base of axillary space to a point approximately 1 inch below the front of the elbow joint. Linear guide for the radial artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin of the forearm from the center of the antecubital fossa to the center of the base of the index finger. Linear guide for the ulnar artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin from the center of the antecubital fossa on the forearm to a point between the 4th and 5th fingers. Linear guide for the femoral artery. Visualize a line on the surface of the skin of the thigh from the center of the inguinal ligament to the center of the medial prominence of the knee. Anatomical guide for the common carotid artery. Posterior to the medial border of the sternocleidomastoid. Sorry, I read it. Sternocleidomastoid. There we go. Muscle. SCM. I butchered that. It's okay though. You know what I mean. Anatomical guide for the axillary artery. Posterior to the medial border of the coracobrachialis muscle. Anatomical guide for the brachial artery. Lies in the bicipital groove at the posterior margin of the medial border of the belly of the biceps brachii muscle. Anatomical guide for the radial artery. Lies lateral to the tendon of the flexor carparadalis. Got it. Carparadalis muscle, and just medial to the tendon of the brachioradialis muscle. Got it. I'm so proud of myself. Sorry. Anatomical guide for the ulnar artery. Lies lateral to the tendon of the flexor carpi ulnaris muscle. Lies between the tendons. That's a typo. Lies between the tendons of the flexor carpi ulnaris and flexor digitorum superficialis. All right. Anatomical guide for the femoral artery. Passes through the femoral triangle and is bounded laterally by the sartorius muscle and medially by the adductor longus muscle. Anatomical limit for the right common carotid artery. Begins at the level of the right sternoclavicular articulation and extends to the superior border of the thyroid cartilage. Anatomical limit for the left common carotid artery. Begins at the level of the second costal cartilage. Important language. And extends to the superior border of the thyroid cartilage. And yes, it is that specific. When they ask you these types of questions, that is exactly how they ask it. It is ridiculous. What begins at the level of the second costal cartilage? Like that kind of thing. It is seriously that ridiculous. I promise, and I'm so sorry. That's why I said the language here is crucial. All right. This is not one where I can tell you, oh, you just have to remember this. Just shorten it for yourself. No. You can't. This is seriously, verbatim how you need to remember it, okay? And I'm so sorry. I don't want to scare you, but you got it. Truly. Once you know, you know. Good. All right. Where were we? All right. Anatomical limit for the axillary artery. Begins at the lateral border of the first rib to the inferior border of the tendon of teres major muscle. In case I said that wrong, it's T-E-R-E-S, major, okay? Anatomical limit for the brachial artery. Begins at the inferior border of the tendon of teres major muscle to a point inferior to the antecubital fossa. Some of these words, I don't know about you, it's I read them, I know what they are, but I've honestly, maybe heard them said once in class, and so I apologize. I'm sure you can understand, though, where I'm coming from that. But anyway, anatomical limit for the radial artery begins 1 inch inferior and anterior to the bend of the elbow to a point over the base of the thumb. Anatomical limit for the ulnar artery. Begins 1 inch inferior and anterior to the bend of the elbow to a point over the pisiform bone. That's P-I-S-I-F-O-R-M. Anatomical limit for the femoral artery. Begins posterior to the center of the inguinal ligament to the opening of the adductor magnus muscle. Origin for the right common carotid artery. Terminal branch for the brachiocephalic artery. Got it. I was reading something in my head differently. I don't make sense of what goes on in my head. Nobody should. It's scary. All right. Origin for the left common carotid artery. Branches off the arc of the aorta, or arch. I don't know. Arc. That's I'm Midwestern, deep to my core, okay? Don't judge me. We say rough instead of roof, and I'm trying. Anywho, my favorite is rune instead of ruin. I say rune. It's embarrassing. All right. So, origin for the axillary artery. Continuation of the subclavian artery. Origin of the brachial artery. continuation of the axillary artery, origin for the radial artery, bifurcation, bifurcation, bifurcation of the brachial artery. I don't like that word. Origin for the ulnar artery. That's that word again. Don't judge me. Bifurcation of the brachial artery. Origin for the femoral artery. Continuation of the external iliac artery. Branches for the right common carotid artery. Terminal, I hate this word, terminal bifurcation into the right internal and external carotid arteries. Of course, a word I struggle with is going to be, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Whatever, I'm going to deal with it. Branches for the left common carotid artery. Terminal bifurcation into the left internal and external carotid arteries. Relation of the axillary artery to the axillary vein. The axillary artery is located lateral and deep to the axillary vein. Again, whenever you see lateral and deep, that's also know that verbatim. Relation of the brachial artery to the basilic vein. The accompanying basilica vein is located medial and superficial, see those words, to the brachial artery. Told you, you're going to be seeing those medial, superficial, lateral, deep, all that. Those are what I'm talking about. Relation of the radial artery to the vena comitantes. Oh, whoa. Okay. Comitantes. Let's see what this says.
Relation of the radial artery to the vena comitantes.
Oh, stop it. That is what I thought. Okay, relation of the radial artery to the vena comitantes. That sounds so spicy. Very, very Latin, Italian. Ooh. Makes me want Italian food whenever I hear those types of words. I know it's Latin, but I just think of whatever. Don't judge me, okay? I tickle myself. 2 small veins lie on either side of the artery. May be helpful in locating it, for they generally contain some blood. Relation of the radial artery to the vena comitantes. 2 small veins lie on either side of the artery. May be helpful in locating it, for they generally contain some blood. And I'm going to say, those 2, I personally do not find as important, but again, you've got over 4,000 potential questions. So just because I don't feel like that's as important doesn't mean it's not. So good to just kind of keep that in the back. Relation of the femoral artery to the femoral vein. The femoral artery lies lateral and superficial to the femoral vein. Oh my gosh. That, you need to make sure that is imprinted in your brain, please. Relation of the femoral artery to the femoral vein. The femoral artery lies lateral and superficial to the femoral vein. That might be super important. Okay. Told myself I wouldn't do that. But considerations for the common carotid artery. Oh, it's important. Very large in diameter. Very elastic. Very rarely found sclerotic. Oh, important. Supplies fluid directly to head. Situated close to center of fluid distribution. And is accompanied by very large vein that can be used for drainage. Now, that sucker just now, that has 5 different questions that they can arrange for you. Okay, ooh, I'm gonna read it again. Okay, I'm gonna try and break it up into okay. Considerations for the common carotid artery include would be better. It is very large in diameter. It is very elastic. It is very rarely found sclerotic. It supplies fluid directly to the head. It is situated close to the center of fluid distribution. It is accompanied by very large vein that can be used for drainage. Okay. You see what I mean now? Because, yeah. All right. Disadvantages to using the common carotid artery. Incision may be visible after dressing. That's actually why, like, side note, a lot of people, when embalming, for example, someone with a darker skin tone, like when you're embalming an African American, like I have a friend that works at a black family owned funeral home, and we're good friends. And we were actually just talking about this the other day. He only uses the femoral when he embalms, because if he does the carotid, you're gonna see it. So that was interesting to learn. I honestly never thought about it, because I work out of like a different area of South Carolina, and honestly, I don't get a whole lot of African Americans. So when he said that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna when I have the chance, I'm gonna add that to my thingadoodle. So side note, when embalming an African American, it might be ideal, depending on what they're going to be dressed with, to maybe perhaps prioritize using the femoral if possible. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, I definitely committed that to memory, because as a trade embalmer, you know, that's good to know. So let me start that over again, because I got sidetracked, and that's annoying for you. Disadvantages to using the common carotid artery. The incision may be visible after dressing. The face may be over-injected. That sucks when that happens. Dye may not be evenly distributed in the face. Positioning of tubes against the face may leave marks. I don't know how the heck somebody's doing that, but when it comes to the NBE, it's not about what you would do in your funeral home. Like, common sense here, but I'm going to say it. You are not answering questions as you would do the thing that they're asking. Like, they're hypotheticals, or like if they were to ask, what's the disadvantage of using the common carotid? And the only answer on there that's going to be right. I'm not saying this is one. I'm not saying this is going to happen. But just if you see this, for example, this is considered a hypothetical. Like, okay? And the answer that fits would be like, they would have two that sound right. One actually might be, what would you do? Like, they know. These people who wrote the questions, they darn well know that you would do this if you work at a funeral home. No. That's not what they care about. They want what you learned in your books, okay? That's what they want. So whatever, like, if you see two answers and one's like, well, duh, I would do this. Like, because I wouldn't even have the tubes against the face. No. You are going to pick that positioning of tubes against the face may leave marks, okay? Like, even if you would never do that, you need to forget when you walk into your testing center, you were never an apprentice. You were never working at a funeral home, if you ever were. You've got the benefit if you've only learned from books and you haven't done anything yet. Like, bless your heart, you're actually doing pretty good if you're a little intimidated by people knowing from experience. Oh, no, that actually gets them. In the end, I know so many funeral directors who have practiced for a long, long time, they can't pass their MBE because that's what they do. They do what they would do. And they ignore my advice because, well, that's not what I would do. Doesn't matter. The NBE does not care. So, again, disadvantages to using the common carotid. Incision may be visible after dressing. Face may be over-injected. Dye may not be evenly distributed in the face. And positioning of tubes against the face may leave marks. Sorry, I thought that was important to kind of give you some advice there. All right, moving on. Considerations for the axillary or brachial arteries. Arterial fluid flows directly into arm and hand. Artery is close to the face. Vessels are superficial and close to the center of fluid distribution. Considerations for the femoral artery. The artery is large in size. The incision is not visible. Both sides of the head will receive an even distribution of solution and is accompanied by a large vein that can be used for drainage. Disadvantages to using the axillary or brachial arteries. The arm must be extended, especially if the vein is to be used for drainage. The artery is too small to be used as a primary injection site. Artery can look like a vein, and there are many anomalies, not abnormalities, There are many anomalies and numerous branches. Messy. That's what they're getting at. It's messy. Disadvantages to using the femoral artery. Very often found sclerotic. No bueno. In obese bodies, the artery is very deep. That it is. And there is no control of the solution entering the head. The sartorius muscle and adductor longus muscle. These muscles can be used to help find the femoral artery, in parentheses, anatomical guide. All right, and that be it for this one. I think that I want to do a mini episode. If I had one now, I would do it with this, but I'm going to do another on just like the definitions of the planes and, you know, I'm doing hand motions you can't see, but I'm going to do one on that. I think it'll probably be very, very quick, but just so that, you know, if you have any struggles with that, I don't think it is appropriate to fit in this because it's a little different. But any hoodles, thinking out loud. All right, so thank you so much for your time. I hope this was beneficial to everybody. If you have any suggestions, please, please, please reach out. That is what I'm prioritizing. Because what I think is beneficial at this point might not be to others, and this is for you. It's not for me. This is 100%, 110% yours. So I want to make sure it is useful, okay? So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. Those of you who have an exam coming up soon, I want you to take a nice deep breath. All right, you will be okay. You've got this. Like, I want you to be confident because, as I've always said, confidence before this is absolutely key, okay? I feel most people who are not confident are, like, self-sabotaging and not going to pass just because they're going to sit there with their heart pounding and wanting to vomit, and you won't even be able to read the questions. So I want you to be more confident. Like, you know this stuff. You've got it, okay? And life's not over. Like, if you do not pass, I don't care if you fail it like with a 50, or 74, it doesn't matter because you know what? You will personally walk away knowing what your weaknesses were. Yeah, you have to pay to take it. Yeah, you gotta wait. So what? You'll pass then. And if you don't, then you'll pass again. You will pass, okay? It's okay. My point is, it's not a one and done. Use it as a study experience. Like, you will know the test, literally. Like, look at it that way. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. It's not the end of the world. I think a lot of people who claim they passed the first time didn't, okay? Truthfully. Like, I actually know people who straight up lie. Like, yeah, I passed. It was so easy. No, they did not. I know one person who took it 8 times before they passed it, but they will tell you, dead to the face, like look you in the eyes and go, oh yeah, it was so easy. I passed it. I took it within 30 days after graduating and I passed. Yeah, no, no. Bless their heart. Cause like, I know they worked to pass. Like we worked on it together, got through it, but it kind of frustrates me when I see that because it makes other people feel lesser. Like, wow, they got it. Like, why can't, no. A lot of these people say it and they say it's easy because it's over. And they, you know what, to each their own. But my point is, don't let other people and their stories and, you know, them passing make you feel any different. Like, you'll get there, okay? Ignore what anyone else says, okay? It doesn't matter. You focus on your success and don't see it as failure because it's not. Just because you quote unquote failed the exam does not mean you're a failure. You're probably laughing at me because I get literally, I'm saying that you're not a failure, like in general, okay? Like it's just a dang test and it's a sucky test, okay? Like they don't even quiz you on they don't care if you know what you're going to do in the embalming room or, you know, as a funeral director, they care about you knowing the dang textbook knowledge and that frustrates the ever-loving heck out of me, okay? I don't think that's fair, but it be what it be, and you got this. So, if anything, don't take it and get, like, discouraged. Get mad. Get mad at it like I did, and you're going to absolutely wreck it when you take it again. Don't let them get in your head. That's how they win. They play mind games on purpose. I tell you guys, like, before I took my tests, I ate McDonald's, and I was at the testing center in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I vomited in the parking lot, and I cried. So, like, Truly, don't let other people discourage you. Do not let yourself discourage you. You got this. You've studied. You've put the work in. You've put the time in. I believe in you. It's not the end of the world. I mean, y'all have gotten through the apocalypse that is like COVID. It is 2025, post-apocalyptic world that we are living in. If you've gotten here, you can do anything at this point. So anyway, good luck. Take a deep breath. Get a good night's sleep. Don't stress yourself out more than you need to. Like, it's already stressful enough. This whole industry is. You're not alone. There are so many people in the same situation you are. You're in the same boat with everybody else. And it's not a fun one, but you're going to get through it. Okay? I'm here for you if you need anything. Like I said, do not hesitate to reach out, whichever way fits you, as long as I can reply, as long as I know you messaged me. I'm here to help. So anyway, again, shoot me a message, give me some suggestions that'll help you, and I'll see you next time, okay? I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, day, night, whatever this be. Great weekend, great week ahead of you, whatever you got going on. And I'll see you again soon, okay? Goodbye.